a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Oh my!
How did you love our new opening?
Woo! What a great surprise, y'all. Michelle surprised me with that intro this morning.
I didn't even show it to Noelle to begin with. I was like, you're going to I just want to see your reaction. I wanted to see the jaw drop.
I am so stinking impressed.
Oh, I did it this morning. Honestly,
crazy.
I don't know what struck me, but I was like, I'm not playing that music again. I don't know why, but I'm not playing that music
do
again.
it.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the new and improved intro music. Biz Chat, your place of encouragement for faith-based entrepreneurs. I am your certified business coach, Michelle, and over there is your certified business coach, Noelle. Each week we bring you topics of strategic insight and encouragement to what we call that inner game that leads to a successful outer game and your faith-based entrepreneurship walk. That's how we launch your God-sized dreams into the marketplace of ministry, where we know that 96% of businesses fail. So we want to show up fully aligned with our identity, our assignment, and our resources. And today, Friday, December 17th, we've got a great topic for you, bringing back guest Melody Dowlearn. She's going to talk about why identity matters. We are going to dig in a little deeper. I know you probably loved her on with Dr. Darlene, but we didn't like missing out.
Yes.
We were like, that's not fair. We're bringing her back. Will she come back? Yes, she said yes, though. We're going to go a little deeper into identity and why it matters and why we need to get our hands wrestled around this and why it matters to your business. So first off, though, Coach Noelle.
Well, I want to say a little bit about Melody, just because I am super excited about this show. I am not sure how we connected on Facebook, but it was her post that I saw on Facebook. And I asked her if she would have a meeting. We had a meeting, didn't know me from Adam. Or Eve rather. And I have to tell you, there is nobody on the internet. You guys would die if you knew how many people I follow. There is nobody on the internet whose posts have captivated me more than Melody's. And I was so mad that we were down with COVID when she was coming on the first time. So I'm just super stoked about today. You guys are going to love it.
You are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. So first off, what you drinking? How was your week? How's your entrepreneurial journey going?
It is going great. I have finished my pink drink, so I'm sans any fluids during the show this week. But yes, my pink drink, and we keep teasing every week about the pink drink. Maybe we'll do a show about health in the new year. But yeah. So highs and lows. Highs were we talked a lot about the business conference, and I got more organized in my calendar than I've ever been in my entire life. And this was the first week I walked it out. So I blocked it all out and kind of reorganized my life the week before. And this past week, I walked it out, and it was freaking fantastic. I had time for everything. When I was playing with my son or cooking dinner, I wasn't obsessing about the project I should be working on because I had it all covered. I exercised every day this week, and still felt like I got everything done. So it was a high for sure. And we'll be sharing some of those tricks in the January workshop too, I'm sure. So we'll share more of that. But yeah, I don't know that I had a low. The low maybe just being, I love the spirit of Christmas. I love the spirituality of Christmas. I don't like much of the rest of it, to be quite frank. I love the baking, but just the extra, like last weekend we were with large groups of people from dawn till late at night. And my little introverted self doesn't handle that well. Doesn't go well.
Did you get some downtime though to recharge your introverted batteries?
I have a little bit this week. Okay. Yes. during my exercise time was actually my recharge quiet time. Nice. Ironically, didn't see that coming. So what about you, Michelle?
Hey, you can multitask.
You guys, I have a love-hate relationship with exercise. Don't do it consistently. And so the fact that it was actually my downtime is like, what? Miracles are occurring. Let me just tell you.
Transformation.
Yes. All right. Your turn.
My turn. I am drinking this morning some hot cinnamon tea. It is spicy. It is very spicy. And I actually rubbed my eye after touching the tea bag, and it's burning very severely at the moment. It's very painful. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to keep it together here.
I'm so sorry, but I also want to laugh hysterically.
It's funny. I was like, are you kidding me now? Oh, yes. Highs and lows. Highs, yeah, with you on the week went so well. I actually finished. I remember one morning I finished everything by 11:30 in the morning. Like my day was actually, all my tasks were done. And that was the first time I think I have ever gotten that far in a day with all the activities. But yeah, not feeling the pressure and the stress of all the things. It's like, no, I got today's work done. And now I have even more time to do, like you said, a little bit of the extras, Christmas here, and got some extra shopping done, got all of our cookie prep done. I am so excited. We've got family coming in. We picked up our son last night and our puppy this week. And so we have a full house full, all our kids back in the nest. And so it's a big high right now, just ramping up to the Christmas season for us. And we interviewed a guest this week. We got it all done, Coach Noel. We got a pre-recorded broadcast for you guys for New Year's. So it was a good week. I can't think of too many downs other than cleaning up puppy accidents, but I love it anyway. So.
Worth the cost.
Definitely worth the cost. All right, everybody. I know you are waiting. We want to bring back our guest, Melody Dowlearn. There she is. Welcome back to the podcast, Melody. How are you doing this morning? Have you had a good week?
You know, I've had an interesting week, but it's been good.
But we want to hear the interesting part.
Wait, there's something behind that.
Yeah, I know. It's really been a good week. You know, I'm excited to be here. I had so much fun with Darlene last time, but then I was, like you said, I was sad I missed you guys. And so, now I get to hang out with y'all, and I got my coffee.
Life's ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And Stella's in there tagging people for us. Thank you, Stella. We adore you.
Yes, our members are the best. All right. I know, Melody, that last time you were on, you and Dr. Darlene got into some really great discussion about Mo's and Joe's. That was like my favorite takeaway of the episode, because I had never heard of this concept before of Mo's and Joe's. And just a quick recap. Can you give us a quick recap of Mo's and Joe's? Because I'm going to guarantee you guys, if you're listening, you're in one of these two categories, and you probably don't like the other person getting in your space. They frustrate you. I think we frustrate each other. So tell us a little bit about the Mo's and Joe's, and just so we have a little launch area of background of what you guys talked about.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of, actually everyone that I work with is either typically a Mo or a Joe. There's not many outliers. And what I mean by that is Moses or Joseph. So I know you guys are familiar with the story, but let's just do a quick recap. Okay. So Joseph, or Joe, right? He's young, and he has a dream in his heart, and he is very expressive. He's very vocal. Some people may even call him aggressive, because he runs around at a young age, and he is telling everybody about these huge dreams. Mm-hmm. And we know from the story, like, he is on board, right? And so we get to see his life from a young man, a child, to the fulfillment of his destiny. And so we see him going through his process. He's always moving forward. Like, that's the interesting thing about Joe's. Like, they are just forward focused. Mm-hmm. Joes will typically sacrifice the present for the future. They're the ones that are always trying to get to the next season, like trying to get to the next thing. Like, I've built it, and I should have had the next thing done 2 weeks ago. Joes are Joes are driven. Joes are focused. Joes are like, okay, this is the process. This is the season. This is the assignment. I'm going to do it with excellence. I'm going to ace it, and I'm going to get it done in half the time. And while I'm getting it done, I'm already working on the next place that I'm going to.
And sort of exhausting everybody else in the process, just listening to us, right?
Yeah, Joes have a high value for autonomy. They're not necessarily the best team players. I mean, they can do it if they're emotionally mature and they know who they are. They have to kind of grow to be a team player, but typically they can just, give me the details and I can run with it. And because I know who I am and I know where I'm going and I know what God has said about my life. And I've got like a stack of promises, dreams, prophetic words that are all identical. And I'm sorry if you don't have that.
Would you like to see my binder?
We need the Josephs, right? Because the Josephs really, they show God's promise and his process, and we see the fulfillment because Josephs are so wired. Josephs can't not get it done. Okay. And then we have Moses. So we see Moses, Moses has this good life, right? He grew up in the palace, he wasn't questioning things. His breakfast showed up, he was educated. He had friends, he didn't have to worry about too much. And so he has this moment, we don't see a lot of process in his early years. We don't see a lot of that refining like you see in Joseph's life. Moses, he was there. And so he doesn't understand, right, the truth of who he is. He doesn't understand that he's a deliverer. He doesn't understand that he has a high value for justice. And because we don't see a lot of process, and there probably hasn't been any because he's not emotionally mature, he kills the Egyptian slave driver, right? Because that justice piece rises up in him. He doesn't understand his identity. He doesn't understand what he carries. He's emotionally immature. He responds or he reacts out of emotion instead of responding in identity. So he kills the guy and he runs away into the desert. And then he kind of goes back into his passive cycle of just, tending goats, hiding out. He gets married. He has some kids. Like he's just doing normal life. He's not thinking about big dreams. He's not focused on building the next thing. He's tending goats.
And I love that part you brought out, that he ran from the spotlight. Like, yes, of course he killed a man, but as soon as he was called out and put in the spotlight, it was like, oh, this is not the place for me. Goodbye.
I'm gone. Yeah, I like goats. I like the mountains. Bye.
Yeah, shepherd.
Little shepherd. So, but God, God had just as much plan for Moses as he did for Joseph, right? They're just two different identities, two different, hardwired completely differently. And so God has to show back up in Moses' life at the age of 80 and say, okay, it's your time. You are a deliverer. I'm sending you back into the land that you ran from. Funny. God is in humor, right? I love the dialogue between Moses and God because we see Moses' vulnerability. He's arguing. He's telling God all the reasons that he can't. And most tend to do that, right? We tend to, well, I'm not Joe, and I don't have a crazy prophetic word, and I wasn't on the mission field when I was 8. My dad wasn't. Like, we the Mo's go through all of these things why we can't. And I'm just happy over here. And yet, in every Mo I've met, because they come for help. Yeah. You can still be a Mo and be a visionary. You can still be a Mo and be an entrepreneur, right? It's there. It just looks very differently. And our culture celebrates the Joes.
Yes.
And we just kind of push the Mo's to the side. I see it in the church and in the business space. So it happens in both places. And I think we really have to understand who we are, how we're wired, embrace that, and then shift accordingly.
So have you found that with Joes that generally God needs to kind of like take them down a peg? That's maybe not the best language, but there has to be some refining.
Yes. Yes. Because Joes don't often see the value of the past and the present. And so they miss a lot of opportunity for refinement because Joes want to fast forward. Mo's want to rewind. Mo's are typically stuck in the past. And then Joes typically they're trying to get to the future. And so nobody's in the present. And where's God in the present?
Except for God, he's waiting.
Yeah, hello.
Yes. And so understanding how you lean is super helpful when you are evaluating, where you are, your assignments and how you've been positioned.
And I think too, for us as business coaches, this recognizing whether we've got a Mo or a Joe on our hands, because if we come at them, you as a Joe and try to pull them forward in that vein, we're not going to have a success. And same with a Mo, if we're treating them as a Joe, we're not going to have success with them either. So I love this concept in just really letting people honor their identity and which way God created them. But no matter where you're at, we got to pull you into the present and get you moving forward in your present situation. So I know, Coach Noel, you had some questions for Melody about this whole how we grab hold of this identity and move forward.
Yeah, so that was one of the things Melody and I kind of were texting back and forth about this week in terms of, you know, aligning vision with identity and how do you walk that out practically. And if we have time, we are actually having questions come in the chat. So hang in there, ladies, keep posting your questions and we'll try to save some time at the end to answer those questions too. But let's talk practical.
Yes, practical, because revelation, if not practical, is simply just fodder for your journal, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have journals of like really good revelation, but what does it mean in our life? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's another episode. But yeah, so everything that we build should be predicated on who we are. You know, and I know like you have your identity and your business can have its own. However, the two have to be congruent. And a lot of times there is this struggle or this tension with what I'm building, with what I'm putting my hand to, because it's not going the way I think that it should, or it just still doesn't feel right. And I can't articulate it. I can't put my finger on it. And so that's where most visionaries, that's like what I like to call them, right? Most visionaries come to me and say, okay, Melody, I don't know. Why is there this disconnect? And more than likely, it's because they don't fully understand their kingdom identity. And so when I say kingdom identity, that simply means that those are the divine blueprints, right? The DNA of heaven that has been hardwired into you in a way that no one else has. Like it is so unique to you. And so therefore, the manifestation of heaven, right, that is waiting to be released through you, it's coming through you in a very specific way. And so when you begin to understand how you're wired, right, because you are a Mo or a Joe, but you're way beyond that, not to put you in the Mo and Joe box, right? And so there's this big, you know, there's this huge kind of obsession with like, who am I, right? Because there's the Enneagram and there's the DISC test and there's the Strength Finders, which are all great assessments. But your personality and your skill sets are functions of your identity. They are not the full measure of your kingdom identity. You really have to go on a journey of discovery and begin to, you know, find out, you know, who am I? Who do you say that I am? What do I carry? What are my truths? What are my superpowers? You know, who am I called to? How do I release that? What is the sound that comes out of my mouth? Where are the ears that are, you know, that are tuned into what I carry, that are waiting for me to speak? Or who is Googling, you know, looking for the solution that is within me? And so on a practical level, I always tell people, okay, you know, a very simple activation that you can do is what I sense and what I know. What do I know? What am I 100% sure about? You know, what I'm building or the partnership that I stepped into, right? Or the job that I'm at, depending on, you know, where you're at. And then what am I sensing? Okay. Are those two congruent? Are those lists like this? Are those lists apart? Or can you even make one of those columns? Okay?
So good. That is so good, Melody. I literally was just kind of, I hadn't put it that clear, but that was kind of what I was wrestling with. Like, okay, God, some of these senses I'm getting, are they really where you're wanting me to go? Because there's some risk involved and I just want to be sure. Yes. and then I started lining up, but this happened and this happened and this happened, and it paints the same picture. Yes. Girls, this is gold. Write this down. Do that exercise. Yeah.
What I sense and what I know. Also, you know, what was I going to say about? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Okay. You know, you are a triune being. We are body, we are spirit, and we are soul, according to Genesis 1:27, made in the image of God, who is a triune God, right? And so you are called to have complete governance over your triune being. So you should have governance in the dimension of your body, in the dimension or the realm of your soul and your spirit. Here's the thing. Your spirit was created in the heart of the Father, according to Ephesians 1:4, before the foundation of the world. So your spirit has been tracking with God's spirit since the beginning of time. Your spirit knows. Your soul, on the other hand, which is your mind, will, and emotions, is always trying to catch up to where your spirit is sitting. So that's why what you sense is really coming through your spirit dimension. What you know is coming through the realm of your soul. As your soul, your mindsets begin to catch up with where your spirit has always set, when those two begin to catch up, then that congruence comes. If those are very different, we got to start making a shift. We have to find out, why we don't know these things, or where the block is, or what piece of our mindset really needs to shift, or what do we just need to discover? What information about our identity is still unknown to us, or is still been hidden and needs to be revealed.
Oh, so good. Oh,
I love that. I love how you're giving some really concrete ways to understand what the difference is between sensing and knowing, because I think women, especially being so intuitive, we can really get stuck in a block there where we're really not understanding what we see in the reality and what we are feeling and sensing. And they're just at odds with each other. So I love this exercise. Hope it's helping some of you. The chat is really busy. So I think actually really helping some people. Coach Noel, any other questions that you want to drill down on?
What did we say we were gonna transition into? I'm kind of blanking on it because I've been in the chat.
Yeah, I wanted to get into too. I know you had said that, the earth is yearning for sons and daughters to rise up from this Mo and Joe, whoever you are, your identity, like the whole earth is longing for us to find this identity and walk it out. And I think we have a lot of people in our group and in our surroundings that are just kind of looking at us as a more of a Mo or a Joe that is just going after everything. But we don't want to scare away our Mo's. Help us to reach out to our Mo's who are really maybe just comfortable but uncomfortable. There's a new tension, like you were saying offline, a new tension in your life, a new confrontation from God that is kind of calling you to a fresh thing. And you're moving out of this comfort zone because God's not going to let you stay in the comfort zone anymore. So help these wonderful Mo's walk into this new thing that God is calling them to.
That's so good. Yeah, you Mo's out there, we're talking to you. Your day of goat herding is over.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. So if you feel like if you resonate more with Mo, here's something that might be super helpful for you. Mo's tend to be more emotion driven, right? Because Mo's tend to be a little bit more feelers, and that's why they get hung up in the past. And I won't belate that. We don't have time for that. But if you are a Mo, a good thing that helps is begin to really document the past seasons and the past assignments of your life. So the reason I say that is because if you can begin to write down, it could be a job. So for example, if I was going to do mine, it would say, okay, I was a single mom for 8 years. In that time, I was a college student. Let's see, I was a bank teller. Then I was an insurance claims manager. And then I was married. So I began just to document the seasons. And the reason I do that, because I began to see the path and the process of God in my life. And so by every season or assignment, I wrote out what God matured in me. I wrote out what he refined in me, even the hard seasons, right? And so I began to really write down the process that I've been in and qualify it and quantify it and look at the data in it. And so what that helps me do, it helps me understand that I have been on a journey, that I haven't been free floating, even if it kind of feels that way, because those Joes look like they're just, knocking out the to-do list every year. And we're like, okay, we're just sitting over here in the mountains. No, begin to really write down the seasons and the past assignments of your life, assign value to them. Because once you see it, once you write it, it comes out of your heart, out of your mind, onto paper. Okay. Once you can write it and assign the value, you start to see that, wow, you know what? I have been in process. Wow, there is a path. Wow, look at the fingerprints of God. And what that does is that tells your mind, okay, he has positioned me right here in this because I have a future, because we are going somewhere. Okay. And you can also add this to what I sense and what I know, then do that as that piece with your assignments and your past seasons of your life. What you're doing is a picture will start forming. Okay. You can see where you've been, where you're currently positioned. What do you know about these things? What are you sensing? And as you begin to take all of this data, okay, and look to the future, you start realizing your mind begins to perceive, oh, I am going somewhere. Oh, there are fingerprints of God on my life. Oh, there is purpose. There is a future. And even though maybe I haven't seen it as clearly, it doesn't mean that it's not there. And I am moving forward. I am not stuck in this one place.
And how does that also reconcile? So we can start to see this. And guys, this is all work we do over in Roadmappers too. We walk you through your identity. We start getting in your resources, what is actually available to you and what has been available to you all along, tangible and intangible resources that Melody's helping you walk through here. But as we're walking that out, we may see a skill set or something that is a roadblock. Like, I don't have this. How do I get past the, okay, I'm starting to see some alignment, but I'm also seeing, like you said, what we know is that I'm missing some pieces over here. How do we start walking somebody forward, like a Mo who's starting to get that vision clear, but and feeling that tap from the Lord, but not really understanding how am I going to get to the other side? I see a huge gap here in my transition over the bridge to walking this new thing that maybe I'm starting to see now in alignment.
Yeah, so we want to speak on a practical level, like skill sets. Okay, maybe I don't understand how to do this, or I don't know, I don't know how this is going to happen. Okay, so, sometimes just practically, you need to go get the skill set, go out and partner with somebody in the area that you feel like you're called to, who is already doing the thing, and learn from them for a while. There's nothing wrong with that, or take a course. I cannot tell you how many courses I've taken, because when I have to learn Photoshop, I had to learn how to run a podcast. I couldn't pay for someone to do that. I had to learn social media. I couldn't. So I watched YouTube videos. I mean, sometimes you just have to do that type of work. You have to get the skill set that you need. But here's the thing that's so interesting is that, God has so faithful. And so every time that I have gone looking, right? Every time that I have like, okay, God, I need this piece. I don't have it. I can't afford to hire somebody. No one knows who I am. I'm just sitting here in my closet, which was my first podcast studio.
I love it.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Your kingdom identity provides there's something always in your hand.
Yes.
There's always something in your hand. Always.
Did you know you're quoting us?
Yes.
Am I quoting you? Are you?
Yeah, we did. We did a "What's in your hand" challenge.
Okay. So if you went through that challenge and you didn't do anything, this is your sign. Go back to what's in your hand, right? Because there's always something in your hand. That's the parable of the talents. There was always something in their hand. But the one who was confused, because it says the master went away. So now the master's gone, and I just have with what I know, what I sense, and what's in my hand. That is enough. Begin to step practically with what you know, with what's in your hand, because that is the precedent that precedes multiplication. And when you are faithful to steward what is in your hand, what you know, watch what you sense begin to manifest, because that is how you begin to engage with your purpose. That is how you begin to walk on that path of destiny, is stewarding what has already been entrusted to you. So on a practical level, what can you do now? Okay, your vision may be over here. It may be huge. Your vision may be small. You may be unsure, but you sense that God's calling you into a space, or you sense this direction. Okay, what can you do to take a small step? Just a small step. If you take 4 small steps a year, okay, you're still much further than where you were a year before.
Yeah.
We tend to see the big picture. We want to get there. Break it into chunks. Okay. What do I have to do first? How long am I going to do this? If you're business minded, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. I do this, and I don't even consider myself business minded.
Yeah, I love that. I love breaking it up, and especially for our Mo's, I find that there's a lot of fear there. If you do get the vision finally aligned, then it's like a big amount of fear starts to settle in. And so I love that you bring out, like, break it down. Ask God, what is in my hand, and how do you want me to use this in the next 3 months?
Yes, He'll show you, because here's the thing: heaven is more excited about you doing the thing than you are doing the thing. They're up there going, like, "Come on!" Like they're breathing over you right now. They're like, "Oh, she's gonna do it! She's gonna do it!" And they're like,
"She's getting it! She's getting it!"
Oh yeah, there she goes again. See, so you have this whole cheering section, chanting your name. Heaven is so invested, because why? All of our destiny is to advance the kingdom. All of heaven is on your side. Now, there's a process, and you have to learn some things, and there's refinement, right? All those pieces. But if you keep moving forward, you keep putting one baby step in front of the other, my friend, think where you will be in 3 to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, thank you so much, Melody. I know we are just about out of time. Any final, I know we have some questions too from the from the
Yeah. Do we
chat.
have time
So
for a
just
couple
real
of questions?
quick, while Coach Noel is pulling up some of those questions, who is one person you could share this broadcast with? It has been huge gold. There are people I'm sure you know who's like feeling the Mo thing where I know there's more. There's something else going on. What's happening? God's calling me. Can't stay comfortable anymore. Who can you share this with? Who can you share this podcast with? Please share it and go to your favorite little platform and subscribe to our podcast too. It's Faith Over Fear, Biz Chicks, Biz Chat. Okay, Coach Noel.
All right, we got the question up on the screen, and there were several, so we'll see how many we get to today. So, what is the difference again for where sensing and knowing connect with?
Okay. So again, on that activation, what you want to do is, what do I absolutely know? Like, what skill sets do I have? How much money is available, right? These are the practical things. What do I know that God has called me to? Like, it can be, as what do I know that I need? What do I know, or who do I need to get? Like, these are the things that I know have to happen. These are the things I know about myself. These are the things I know that God has called me to, right? There's a lot of things in that know list that anything that you know 100%, write that down. Go to the sense. What do I sense? Maybe I sense that God's about to reposition me. Maybe I'm sensing that I need to really consider this opportunity. Maybe I'm sensing that this partnership, this idea just keeps circulating in my head, or I keep having this dream, or I keep waking up to this idea. I'm sensing that. So how does what I'm sensing, how does that partner with what I know? Do those look similar? If they do, you're probably on the right track. If they're very different, then we need to go back, maybe do a little bit more identity work, go back and spend some more time with Holy Spirit, really trying to flesh out what you're sensing, where he's leading, and how that lines up with what you know, and what you know relating to what you're trying to build, or what you're trying to do, or your business.
Awesome. All right. Do we have time for one more? One more. Okay. So I know there were more than this, but all I'm seeing, oh, that's not what it was. This one. I'm seeing all Stella's questions. So you're getting the gold, the gold bucket today, Stella. So can you end up with a combo to land in the present?
Absolutely. We should all land in the present, right? And when I say that, Joes are very future oriented and Mo's are kind of more past oriented, that's assuming that they really have not grown in process in maturity. But when you are emotional mature, right? When you are solid in your identity, when you understand that your kingdom identity, your purpose, and your destiny are non-negotiable, it's very easy to just let go of that future and being so worried about it. Like, I'm never going to get there. And it's easy to let go of the past because you realize that you are positioned on time and in time, right where you're supposed to be. And it just takes off that, the stress, right? The heaviness, and you can really begin to function from a place of rest, because rest is in the present.
Yay. So good.
Oh, wonderful. You guys, I hope you're taking away some pages of notes here to really go back and listen too. Go ahead and go back and listen with a friend. Let's have a little party, party up, listen. And help somebody else work through this too. I'm sure that you've got a buddy in the entrepreneurial space who's maybe kind of still finding their way, trying to figure this all out. This is how we are the body, and we are in community. And we know that coaching and community are the two ways that you will stay on the path. You will stay on your entrepreneurial path, and you won't fall into that 96th percentile that will, their businesses will fail. We just don't want that with your God-sized dream and vision. So get into coaching, get into community. If you want to contact with us, Coach Noel, if you could throw that last Calendly link up real quick. Otherwise, thank you so much, Melody, for being on our podcast today.
We gotta tell them about Identity Academy too. No,
yes. Melody, where can they find you if they want to do some more identity work?
Absolutely. You can go to melodydowlearn.com. I do private identity consults there. So there's information, but launching February is the brand new Identity Academy. which will be a 7-month school where we are going to dig deep and we are going to uncover and unearth all of the information, all of the data from the time you were born until the present. And you will leave that academy after 7 months with an identity map, which is a framework or a rubric to really help guide you as you build and as you step into everything that God has for you. So I am super excited about this because it allows for the time to process and to sit with the information and to really own it. And so I would love for you guys to come and join the academy and sign up. Registration does not open until January 5th for the general public. But if you are on the email list, you will have the opportunity to register early as well as utilize a significant discount on the registration.
Yeah, that's great. So good. And you guys, I am in Melly. You have like a private Facebook group, right, too?
Yes, called the Identity Lab. So if you you can find that, there's a link on my link tree on my Instagram and on my Facebook page, Melody Dowlearn. If you click on that or just Google Identity Lab, I will let you in. And that's where we talk about identity. It's absolutely free.
And there's good stuff in there. And ladies, some of you have gone through some of our material and have continued to kind of struggle with the identity piece. And we stand behind this is core. This is why I personally believe this is why 96% of businesses fail. You can get skills from anywhere, or you can hire people to do that. But if you don't know who you are and what you're called to, that's going to trip you up. So this is big stuff. We talk about it a lot, I know.
And it's the one thing that leads you to buying every single course and falling for every single wonderfully, amazingly articulate marketer who can sell you thousands and thousands of dollars worth of packages you don't need. So getting this whole identity piece right is going to save you money as well as time, energy, all the things.
Because when you know who you are, then you also know what you need and what packages you will need to buy. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, ladies, that was our cute little puppy. We're over time. Sorry, you get puppy if we're over time. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Melody. You guys have a Merry Christmas. I know we're going to be doing a quick recording of our Christmas Eve broadcasts, but it will be pre-recorded. And we have a pre-recorded for New Year's Eve. So we won't see you live. This is it. Last live in the 2021. And so blessings on the end of your year and your new year. And we do have a 2022 planning session coming up. If you're interested in that, contact us at hello@faithoverfearbizchicks.com. We will get you the link to sign up for our 2022 planning session. All right, ladies. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time on Biz Chat.
Woo-woo.